is a very significant announcement because it makes it possible for the Ukrainian both to defend themselves against new Russian offensives. We know that they are planning for that, but also it enables the Ukrainians to get the combat capabilities they need to be able to liberate, retake territory which is currently occupied by Russian forces. So these announcements about the battle tanks are of great importance. Of course, numbers matters, and therefore I welcome that many allies have made it clear that they're ready to provide battle tanks to Ukraine, and we have already started looking into how we can provide training, how allies can provide training and get the battle tanks delivered as quickly as possible.
Okay, he did tell me this morning that he doesn't know when those European tanks will arrive on Ukrainian soil. From what you're saying, what do you think is the quickest timeline possible?
I will be careful going into exactly how quick this can go, but I know that the allies are extremely focused on the importance of speed, of getting training and the actual delivery of battle tanks as soon, as quick as possible. And let me also welcome the leadership the United Kingdom has demonstrated, because the United Kingdom actually several days ago announced that they will deliver modern NATO standard main battle tanks, the Challenger 2 battle tank, and now other allies are following up with additional announcements.
Yeah, but are we talking days, weeks, months before the end of the war?
I will be very careful going into exactly how long time this will take, but of course it takes some time to train crews to be able to operate these battle tanks. At the same time, we have seen how capable, how skilled the Ukrainian soldiers, personnel are in learning how to operate NATO standard weapon systems. So therefore I'm confident that this will go as fast as possible, and that the allies will do whatever they can to make it as quick as possible. And let me also remind you that not only do we have the announcements of battle tanks, the UK, Germany and others, but also last week we had several NATO allies and partners announcing a significant amount of additional armored vehicles and infantry fighting vehicles. So it is this whole spectrum, this package of different types of armor, from infantry fighting vehicles to battle tanks, that altogether provides the Ukrainians with a significant strengthened combat capability that will be extremely important in the months ahead.
So President Zelenskyy also wants long-range missiles and F-16 fighter jets, he says. The Dutch cabinet, I believe, have said that if asked, they will consider supplying him. That's what the Dutch are saying. The Germans have only reluctantly agreed to license their tanks. Are we seeing a fracturing in the West's approach to the war in Ukraine?
So what we see is an unprecedented level of support and unity among NATO allies and partners. President Putin made at least two big mistakes, strategic mistakes, when he invaded Ukraine. He totally underestimated the Ukrainian armed forces, their courage, their commitment, but he also underestimated NATO and NATO allies and partners when it comes to our commitment to support Ukraine. So we have delivered unprecedented level of military support. We are stepping up, delivering even more, and of course this is something which is appreciated, recognized by the Ukrainian leadership. I just spoke with President Zelenskyy, and he welcomed the support that has been given over a long period of time, and also the new announcements of more heavier and armored capabilities today. Then we will need to constantly assess what more we should do, and therefore also welcome the close consultations between NATO allies and partners on what type of systems we should deliver, what more we can do, and that will be an ongoing process among allies as long as this war lasts. If I can add one more thing, and that is that we need to discuss new systems. but we also need to ensure that all the systems we have provided already have the ammunition, have the spare parts, the maintenance they need to operate as they should, because we have already delivered a lot, and this has really made a difference on the battlefield already.
Okay, so you're not ruling it out, but there's a long way to go. A final question, if I may, please. It's almost a year, as you know, since the start of the war in Ukraine. President Zelenskyy telling me today that he is wary of new Russian surges coming very soon, certainly on the horizon. How worried should he be?
We have no indication that President Putin has changed his goals when it comes to the war invasion of Ukraine. He wants Northern Europe. He wants Europe where he can control neighbors and control Ukraine. And Russia is planning for new offensives. They are building heavily up. They have mobilized hundreds of thousands of new troops, ramping up production, acquiring ammunition from authoritarian regimes like Iran, North Korea, and therefore we have to be prepared for new Russian offensives. That's exactly why the announcements made last week are so important, with more armor, more ammunition, more also long-range weapons like the HIMARS, but also the new announcements of battle tanks. So it's urgent, and that's the reason why I welcome those important announcements.
We appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much for having me.